Hey guys, Mark here from Ace Card Gaming. So depending on how long you've been acquainted with the channel, you probably know by now that we spend a lot of time celebrating the heyday of the many much loved characters as well as our favourite games in the Sonic series. And as you also probably know, those videos can quite often be a double-sided coin, often contrasting all the things we love or loved about the series against the stuff we've now grown tired of. Meaning even when we talk about the insane amount of positives in this wonderful series, we can still sometimes end on a sour note. But not today. Not on Sonic's 30th birthday. Only a day after my own, by the way. So don't hesitate to give my old ass a shout out in the comments. Today we celebrate 30 years of Sonic, and having been along for the ride since day one, that makes you feel old. But to celebrate this momentous occasion, I decided to make this quick video highlighting some of my all-time favourite moments in the series. No caveats, no moaning about how anything was ruined, no forces bashing, just some good, wholesome Sonic is awesome therapy. Obviously, these will be my own picks, and even then they won't scratch the surface of how many moments in the series I hold near and dear. So if you have any special moments or memories from the series and I don't mention them here, please share them in the comments below. It can be anything at all. Doesn't even have to be an exact moment from a piece of Sonic media. Just a pleasant memory from your past about Sonic. But for now, let's jump in and get started, shall we? Yeah, I know we're all supposed to be sick of Green Hill by now, but remember, no negativity, and we were hardly going to get away without mentioning Sonic's debut anyway, so here we are. Back in 1991, Sonic the Hedgehog came completely out of left field, loosening Mario's iron grip on the market and changing the way we all think about platform games forever. And with all the awesomeness that followed afterward, people don't always give this game its due credit, often viewing it in a far more negative light than it deserves. But this was the grand experiment that gave birth to absolutely everything else. And the refined, speedy, and extremely satisfying gameplay of Green Hill was where Sonic found his identity, with all future games being built around its concepts. No matter how many other missteps there were in the game, this was where it all started. Fresh off the back of my character analysis on this little dude, how could I not mention the debut of Miles Tails Prower? Provided as a way of keeping two kids entertained instead of just one, Tails was the creator's first attempt at expanding the universe and building a roster of characters to share in Sonic's adventures. On the surface, Tails would just seem to be a Luigi to Sonic's Mario. But if you look closely enough, there is a lot of groundwork laid here to help explain big things about how his character would evolve in the future. His sheer will and determination are such that Sonic happily agrees to take him under his wing as a mentor, and the early signs of this engineering prodigy are already starting to show, as he can instantly pilot the tornado, even repairing it after it gets shot down by the winged fortress. Little did we know back in 1992 the dizzying heights this unassuming little fox cub would reach, becoming an equal partner to Sonic, a hero in his own right. If Knuckles wasn't already special enough in his own right to make this list, seriously though, he is special enough in his own right. His introduction also heralded the beginning of a huge focus towards storytelling in the series. And for the first 20 years of Sonic, this focus would remain firmly front and center, with many arguing that this was a huge part of what helped set Sonic aside from every other gaming mascot. The ability to tell deeper, more compelling stories than his peers, and I couldn't agree more with this. Knuckles is introduced first as an enemy, making a nuisance of himself constantly as you make your way through the game. But later, you find out that Knuckles is actually a victim in all of this, and that Robotnik had taken advantage of his naivety to trick him into fighting Sonic, while he worked on stealing the Master Emerald. And yeah, this may not seem like a groundbreaking story now, but back then, as a kid, this was like watching the plot of a blockbuster movie unfold right in front of you. That feeling of discovering the hidden palace, fighting Knuckles, learning the truth, and teaming up to defeat Robotnik was just a magical thing back then. And this whole story was told without a single word of dialogue. This wasn't an RPG with hundreds of lines of text to read. This was like watching a stage play in utter silence. And I can never give enough credit to the creators for how perfect and completely understandable the whole game was. For me, a true masterpiece that will stay with me forever. Super Sonic. What isn't awesome about this Goku-fied invincible version of the Blue Blur? And you're probably thinking, yeah, he is awesome. How could he be any better? Well, I say to you, how about Goku-fied Sonic in space? And yeah, I know Super Sonic debuted in Sonic 2, but this is where it became part of the narrative, with Doomsday Zone and the true final boss and ending actually requiring at least Super Sonic to unlock. And I say at least because we also got the flashing Skittles hyper form in this game, which just feeds back into the amazing storytelling and lore expansion Sonic 3 and Knuckles blessed us with zooming Chaos Emeralds becoming mighty Super Emeralds, and Super Sonic getting even more sparkles. Super Sonic final boss battles were born here, and some of the most epic showdowns in the history of the series were all inspired by this, and for that alone Super Sonic would have made the list. Sonic's transition into true 3D just blew me away as a kid. Just seeing the images in magazines was exciting back in the day, but finally getting to watch this opening cutscene in the flesh as Crush 40's Open Your Heart blasted at eardrumming melting levels was truly special indeed. Sonic Adventure continued to push the storytelling agenda further, and it was here that many of the series' characters got their first opportunity to grow and form their own identities. Like Sonic 1, it experimented with a lot of gameplay types to explore and find its footing in this new 3D landscape. I'll never forget just how much I wanted a Dreamcast back in the day, just from looking at pictures of this game in magazines. It could have had no other games at all, and I still would have wanted it just for this. Such is the pull of this amazing Hedgehog, and how well this game was marketed. Shadow is one of my all-time favourite characters in the series, so there's no way his introduction wasn't going to make the list. Shadow's story arc was kind of like Knuckles 2.0, a lost and confused guy acting under false pretenses and carrying out evil deeds that realistically could not be further from his true nature. The main difference here being that Shadow actually tricks Eggman, as opposed to being tricked by him. Shadow is marketed as this ruthless Sonic clone, hell-bent on destruction of the world at all costs. But then you get to see his backstory, and you realise this is probably the most human character in the series, only wanting to fulfill what he believed was his promise to his dying friend, the only person in the world who truly mattered to him, and once he learns the truth, immediately seeks redemption by sacrificing himself to clean up the mess he helped create, and save the planet that Maria loved. Aside from what, in my opinion, was awesome gameplay, Sonic Adventure 2's story, while slightly sporadic, was growing up alongside Sonic's audience. The kids, like myself, who had been with Sonic since the very beginning, were now teenagers, and this deeper, and at times darker storytelling was extremely welcome. And even though I came back to Sonic Adventure 2 after an unwilling break from the series, it only took seeing gameplay from City Escape to hook me straight back in. And my memories with this game, and the time it came into my life, will always stay with me. Probably didn't think you'd see this here, huh? Well, this spot isn't for Sonic 06 itself so much, but more for the E3 trailer for the game. Say what you will about the game itself, and how it all turned out, but my god this trailer. They truly made gold out of lead here. I remember watching this on repeat after it was shown, trying to glean every bit of information I could from it, while being blown away by the graphics and speed on display, and I couldn't wait to meet the new characters and greet my returning favourites. I was on a World of Warcraft buzz at this time, so this was pretty much the only reason I bothered getting a next-gen console so soon. And regardless of how it all turned out in the end, I actually had a pretty decent time with this game my first time through, warts and all. I hope you all enjoyed the short walk down my memory lane, and as I said at the beginning, there is loads more stuff that I would have loved to have included, but then, what is a short video paying tribute to Sonic on his 30th birthday would have quickly became an endless essay. But some honourable mentions I'd just like to add real quick. Metal's introduction in CD. This would have easily made the list had I actually gotten to experience it back in '93, but as things stood, I was never lucky enough to own a Sega CD, so I only got to experience this firsthand many years later. Still an awesome intro for an awesome character though. Sonic 3D Blast, or in my case, Flicky's Island. This game doesn't really get a whole lot of love from people. I'll admit the gameplay can be a bit janky, and the camera angle does take some getting used to, but once you do get used to it, it's actually a bit of fun. And the Genesis soundtrack is just fire. Special mentions to Diamond Dust, Volcano Valley, and Gene Gadget Zone in particular. the theme songs for the teams in Sonic Heroes. Those were just amazing, especially Team Dark and Team Chaotix, not to mention Metal Overlord. The opening cutscene to Sonic Unleashed. I have my own feelings about the rest of the game, especially in terms of how the likes of Eggman was handled, and Sonic being the only playable character. But that opening cutscene, the production values were just off the charts, and both Sonic and Eggman were written really well here. The remixed music in Sonic Generations. Generations was actually a pretty fun game on the whole, but for me, what always stands out is the amount of amazing remixed tracks. More often than not, the Act 1 or classic version standing out for me in particular. My favourites being City Escape, Seaside Hill, Crisis City, and the Rooftop Run mixes. And of course, Sonic Mania. This was my Sonic bread and butter, and as a huge classic fan, I couldn't have been more overjoyed that I was fortunate enough that this game even existed. But what about you guys? Let me know all of your favourite Sonic moments, be they game, cartoon, comic, or movie related, in the comments below. As a fellow Sonic fan, I understand fully how special this series is to people, and I always love hearing stories from other fans about their experiences with the Blue Blur, so be sure to sound off and let me know. If you enjoyed the video and are interested in more Sonic content, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon to be notified when I release more. And there is plenty more Sonic character and game analysis on the channel, so be sure to check those out. You can also follow me on social media and join the channel Discord server if you want to keep up with everything that's going on and chat anything Sonic or gaming. But for now, a big thank you for watching, and as always guys, take care.